Welcome, welcome. This is Guest Roll Episode 6. This time we've got Felipe from New York City. He went out on the town. Most of this roll is going to be night shots, a little nightlife, some street photography. In his Leica M4-P, he loaded a roll of Delta 400. Through the roll, he's going to shoot two different lenses. Here in this shot, we can see the Voigtlander 50mm 1.5 version 2. And then somewhere in here, we're going to see a Leica Summicron 40mm, which at times it might be hard to tell which is at which. Now this is a friend. Now I don't know Felipe, right? Other than just on the Leica Discord group. This friend I think is going out with him for the night. She's in quite a few of the photos. Now Felipe told me, he's like, I don't know what's on this roll, but it's gonna be dark, right? And Delta 400 is a pretty good choice for that. I think he's got like a bulk of 100 feet, and he's bulk loading it, right? At times, right, Delta 400 is a good box speed film. It's not really a 400 speed film. It's more of like a 200 speed film. In X-Tall, it's like 320, even when you're pushing it. Right, so this is not going to be like looking at HP5, right? It's going to be more like, imagine putting your digital camera at ISO 400 and sort of, turning up the contrast, right? Now here we're getting a little bit of halation, and right around this like fence line here. It's cool that we're seeing into this building. I don't know. I don't want to be too much of a peeping Tom. Now the Voigtlander here, right? Yeah, he misfocused, right? I mean, I don't know. It's like, was he trying to focus? Probably. Did he focus on the glass? And the depth of field is just that shallow at 1.5. Yeah, it's still nice, right? Let's come in here a little bit and check out the film. If you wanted to soften the grain a little bit, you could do undiluted X-Tall. I mean, this is like, there's basically no light on this, right? This like way off street. So this is just dark. Like the person coming by. And I like the out of focus foreground person, right? But then it's like, what is in focus? Right? What was he aiming for this back here? Looks like. Yeah, that license plate looks pretty sharp. So I don't think it's just like a shutter speed thing. Again, look at that little bit of halation. I like this shot. This is I like these flowers back here and this sort of interesting texture through the middle of the photo. Sort of the reflection slash kind of blurriness of this clear whatever, clear screen, clear sheet. That's a nice portrait. I bet that's the 51.5 still. I wonder what color her lipstick is. Right, her lips are a little bit light. I don't know if that's Delta 400 or if that's maybe her lipstick. Now this is my favorite shot so far. Right, I like the look is very nice. Right, her modeling, her stance, and then also just like the surrounding is also really nice. Right, this cool out of focus truck, and there's just enough light there where like the tones across her face are nice. Right, a little more light would have been good, but this is probably that 51.5, right? And there's just a little bit of light in there, so that's a good one right there. I like her boots off the table. And this one was so dark that it was hard to do anything but just like make it contrasty, right? But again, there was enough light on her and her face to make a photograph with it. And it's a good look, right? And these looks like all this is like he's shooting a lot of 1.5. I like, yeah, these bicycles here in the foreground, cool graffiti. All right, now we're in a club. This reminds me of being in college. I mean, in grad school. I didn't go to that many clubs in college. Not until I was like 24. Yeah, this is another one of my favorites here. Right, you can really feel the scene. You got cool ceiling stuff going on, right? And then this person here, right? The light hit them really well. You got this like the necklaces popping. This looks like the police coming to get Felipe, and this is the end of the roll, right? No. Apparently he got away and he kept shooting. That's my ding, not yours. Now here we've got a guy going in somewhere. A New York City tattoo shop, maybe. I like this one. You got an Amazon package down here. You got an air conditioner up here. A scooter. And it's interesting. What's he, it's like the door is really heavy. Huh. Alright, now it is not nighttime. It is daytime. So we go from, right on film I just pushed hard because it was night scenes. But now we're here in the daytime. And I think what Felipe is seeing here are the birds. Right, and he's trying a few different angles here to get the birds. And I like this one here, even though it's a little blurry, it almost has like a Hitchcock feel to it. And I like the tones across this street sign. However, this one I like even more. Right? I think that the composition, the balance, right, that it's more obviously about the birds. Sort of like these buildings, the way they sort of hit the edges here nicely, and the exposure's right on. And again, I mean, he found where the birds were. Right, look at them all. They're like down here, like some are on the car, right? And then a bunch of them up here on this fence. And the exposure here is really nice. I'm wondering this looks like he switched to the 40 Summicron. Now this is, you got this woman holding up a go sign, and she's as still as she can be in the middle of the road, but then you got two people going. I like that one. I mean, this is a tricky shot, right? It's like he's deep inside of a tunnel where there's no light except for looks like there's maybe this light here. And then it's like full sun, right? If I wanted to bring back some of those highlights, I probably could. Now, I like that he got this person at the end of the tunnel. I wonder if he was maybe even kind of waiting for them to get there. And then he's also got this biker that came in. I don't know. Would I liked it better if it was just her, or maybe if they had been positioned just a little differently? Delta 400, right? It's doing pretty good here. Right, I like how that looks. Now I think what he's getting is this guy on the bicycle. Maybe the people across the street. Can't quite tell what he's doing. Now I did see a scratch through some frames. There's nothing I did that would make that, so I think it's, this was bulk loaded. I think it's maybe just like it's a pretty minor scratch, right? You don't really see it till you go zooming in. And I do like Delta 400 as long as it has lots of exposure, like up in here, right? This is nice. Right, even this is nice. I think where I'm at with Delta 400 is like, it's not great with underexposure. Like deep underexposure, right? If you're going to do that, grab HP5, try X, double X, or even XP2. Now this is kind of a cool shot, even though it's blurry, right? I like it. I like the tones. I like the composition, right? The subject's pretty interesting. I don't know what he's got. It sort of looks like a gun, but could also just be like a stick. It's the shape of a rifle, right? But I don't know. Now this woman makes the shot, right? This, like, she's right on the edge of the shadow, her hat down, digging in the purse, right? It was a really good find in contrast to all these people in the sun. Feels a little far away, right? If he wants to crop in. Yeah, I wonder if, like, right, it's sort of interesting subjects, but then also sort of this interesting stuff up here. So maybe he was trying to get them both in the frame. All right, back to nighttime. Is it night? I don't want to say juggling. It's like, I don't want to say fire twirling. What are they doing? It's like some kind of spinny stick, light on a spinny stick. Twirly, whatever it is. I want one for Christmas. Right? I like this guy in the background. He's got, yeah. Now this shot is pretty awesome, right? Her, whatever she's twirling, right? Check out the shape, the symmetry, and even the way it leads up into the light bowl. Right, yeah, it's dark, but there's just enough exposure to have some nice gradation on her pants. If I wanted, I could edit in her shoes to pop a little more. Right, maybe I wish this one leg right here was not there. I'm guessing this is the 1.5 at 1.5. Yeah. But that one turned out just right. Very cool. All right, that was the roll. Let me just pick out some of my favorites and come right back. All right, I picked some favorites. Want to say a little bit more about them. Before I do that, just to thank the sponsors of the series. So there's Royal We Film Lab, where you can get a roll of Delta 400 developed, or even buy a roll for $10.79. The other sponsor is One Lot Film, where you can get film that's been bulk loaded for a good price. No compromises, no surprises. And here's my website, Dan Mars Photography, where you can see the other guest roles, right? I'm going to keep building the list here, and right, I'm about to add episode 6. And then I want to show one of my favorite websites, right, where somebody did some good research and put it out there of film developer combinations, right? And I came here especially for this because I wanted to make sure that Xtol was the right choice. And so you can see them trying to figure out how much speed you can really get out of a film developer combination and compare it to other choices. So you can see that like Delta 400 and D76 is not even a 200 speed film. But in Xtol, it's more like a 320 speed film if you push it +1. So that helped me have a strategy, and I ended up developing at a +3 push, 18 minutes of 1:1 at 68 degrees. And then I'll just say a little bit more about like, right, because Delta 400's at best a 320 speed film pushed an Xtol, right? It's like if you're going to go out late at night in the dark, another good choice would be, right, HP5 or Tri-X or maybe XP2 or XX or something, but probably HP5. But Delta 400, right, we can see it did pretty well, but you know, he's giving up a little bit of speed. It helped that he had the 1.5, right? That helped a lot. But yeah, so some of my favorites, I really like this, you know, sort of like the behind the veil, in front of the veil, tones and shapes and things. Right, this is a great portrait. I would imagine that she'll like this photo of her. And then it was sort of, sorry to zoom in on you, but right, the Delta 400 looks really good here, right? Back to when you do get Delta 400 properly exposed, right, it can look really good. Yeah. And then this one, that's a great shot. You know, what if I try to bring a little bit more out of her hair? Let's try to do that for a second. Oh, no, let's see here. Right, you kind of tell that like anytime you try to kind of move a shadow here, right, I'm sort of having to lift every shadow, right? So that's just showing you how close I am to like having nothing, you know, this was barely exposed enough. This one is a great shot. Right, I don't know if you want to see club coming back here, right? If you wanted to blow that out, right? I don't know if it's like that's right. It's like I chose to bring, right? Look at it, it's gone, right? But the film is easily holding that highlight, right? There's so much room on the high end. You know, there's zero highlight blowouts on any of this, right? Anywhere I want to go in and bring highlights back, I can do that, right? It's like, do we want to see what's inside the shop? Because I can bring it back, right? Look at that, right? The film has all the highlight details you want in it. I mean, I like this one because it just feels like it's a scene, right? It feels like it's like something's happening. It's sort of these little, there's not a lot around in the photo, but what's there sort of adds a lot of kind of like I don't know, makes it interesting. And I like how he had, right, he was trying to find the right photo of the birds, right? And he had 4 or 5 that were okay. And then he got and was the last one. I think he knew it. Oh, I guess he ended up taking this one too. All right, but he's trying to get a cool shot of the birds, and he did. Right? He got a couple of cool shots of the birds. I don't know which one's my favorite. I like both of these. Again, it's sort of like I would like this as like a 4x6, right? But I'd like this as like an 11x14. I mean, here I just like, the people going versus her standing. And this one just has the right sort of, like, the right tones for me. And sort of, it's like, what's going on? Yeah, and a good composition, even though it's blurry. And then this one is just too cool not to include, right? It's like pretty unbelievable. He took one shot of this. I mean, he couldn't have. Look at that. Whoever this person is would probably love to have this photograph. Well, I'm going to go back through just one more time on a few of my absolute favorites and try to get to like a favorite 2 or 3. Before I do that, Felipe, thanks for sending me your roll. You've got me. I don't shoot Delta 400, and sort of looking at your photos and looking other places to kind of research for this. Like, I do like it. I don't know that I like it. I mean, this is nice. I'd maybe next time do undiluted Xtol as opposed to 1:1, just to soften the grain a touch more. And then I'd probably start by just shooting it more box, and reserve like this extreme underexposure stuff for HP5 and Tri-X. So, but yeah, there are some, like this is one where I think it worked great and it looks really good. But you were so close to not having this shot, right? A little bit darker, or if you'd stopped down one more stop. But you got that 1.5, so it turned out. So yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite 2 or 3. I think that's a great portrait. This one is just so cool. I don't know if it would make my top 2 or 3. Yeah. This one though probably will. Again, I feel like I can't choose both bird photos, so I would. Here I sort of like the look of the film a little better. Here I didn't work this one a lot. Like if I maybe continued to edit it, I could make it a little better. I sort of like all the birds like up here, and then they're also coming down to this car, and you got one that's like sitting on the car. Yeah, and the overall composition's really nice. And again, I mean, I know it's not I know that you didn't nail focus or have, it's a little slow on the shutter speed, but right, the tones and the composition are still good. And then I mean, this one's impressive, right? It is very dark, but I guess there's enough light hitting these things and her back, and you've got the 1.5, right, where you got the right, you got enough exposure on your subject there. So I don't know. I'm not very good at this, narrowing it down to 2 or 3, right? How I would really do it at this point is I would print these, and I would let the prints live on the table for a few days, and then kind of see which 1 or 2 really stands out as the best. Right. I would guess that one's going to stand out. Maybe that one. Yeah, maybe those two. I don't know. I always feel a little differently about photos the next day, right? For me, it's always a multiple day process. So, but all right, Felipe, thanks again. See you all next time. Take care.